Hello and welcome back. It is literally just one day after I finished Rabbit Fighter. Kind of kicked ass on that one. Let's take a look. Um, where are you at? This is my final page right here. So I went from this page, as you recall, to this page, and it got done. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Makes me happy. All right. And that was yesterday. And then I thought about it, and and I've been painting this Jabberwock miniature. I should bring the Jabberwock miniature. Well, maybe I'll show it on a future live stream because I'll be doing some miniature painting. I had this idea for a new story about my this is a D&D character of mine, a cursed barbarian named Brillig. Too unlucky to live, just too tough to die. He's like I said, based on one of my D&D characters, and the idea is, wait, can you see this? I make it bigger. Um, he's cursed by the dodo god, and he ends up in this sort of Alice in Wonderland type of world. I did 2 pages, roughs, and I'm going to try and refine this first page of roughs. Here he's falling through this thing at the beginning called the Nightmare Void. It's supposed to be this unsurvivable um, punishment of the gods, and he mentions he's actually he's been through it like 3 times. So he just keeps surviving it, and then at the end, he does something else that angers the gods. And then I think at the end of this sequence here, um, he'll confront the actual dodo god again, and then there'll be, I don't know, a discussion that gives more of the backstory. And, and then we're off on the adventure. So this might be a short story, it might be an 8-pager or whatever it is. I don't know, we'll see. I just used a font to do the title, but I'm going to trace it so that I and maybe make some changes to it. I mean, I thought about taking it. This is kind of a cool trick that you can do. Is this is the font right here, Brillig right here, and I could just take it and put it in warps. Like maybe I want to do something like that, kind of a Master of Puppets or Amazing Spider-Man kind of stretch or something like that. Or I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with it just yet, but we'll work that into the design of the page somehow. Um, at the beginning, he's the Nightmare Void is these monsters, and they're based on. I'll show you a picture right now. They're based on a monster from the Fiend Folio called a Volt. It was one of my favorite monsters from like high school. Um, and I just like the way they look. They basically look like they have a big head, they have a tail, they can fly, levitate, fly, and they have these horns. And the idea here is you can see that they're smaller as they get further away. So we want to get the sort of 3D effect as he's falling further and further away. Um, the Volts attack when he's in the air, and he fights them off. Wait, can you even see that? Yeah, the Volts attack when he's in the air, fights them off, and they end up landing in some kind of water or sludge. I'm not sure yet. And then he's running through this tunnel, and they're chasing him. And I think he's going to break out into this big room, and then the dodo god is going to be there and give him the dodo curse. And the dodo curse is like my idea is he's going to transform him into like a were dodo, like a lycanthrope dodo. Um, because he's truly too unlucky to live, right? So that's the shtick here. That's the hook for the character and the hook for the story, just being this, this character that keeps getting all these unlucky breaks and somehow makes it through. And what we culminate on is this. I want to use. Hold on, and can you see that? This is a John Tenniel illustration of the Jabberwock from the original Alice in Wonderland. I'm not sure if this is which part it's in. I know that in the original book, I just got the Kindle version of the collected works. There's actually 4 volumes. There's 4 different books about Alice in Wonderland or Wonderland in general. And the Jabberwock is she finds a book and it seems to be written in complete nonsense, and she holds it up to a mirror and she's able to work out what the poem says. And of course, the Jabberwock itself, the poem, "'Twas Brillig and the slithy toes, stood Gyre and Gimble in the wabe," is complete nonsense, right? Is the walrus involved? I think the walrus might be involved in this part. Um, but anyway, she reads it, so it's kind of a story within the story. But in this case, the Jabberwock will be an important part of this story. There was also a Monty Python sort of, I don't know if it wasn't really a Monty Python um, movie, but had Eric Idle in it, and it was called Jabberwocky. And what? Okay, I'm on the right layer. um, and the idea being um, that this dragon creature, really existed. All right, so I'm going to start drawing on this creature, and I'm going to pull up a picture from the Fiend folio, which I believe was by Errol Otis. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. If I look up Fiend folio Volt, Volt, not a Chevy Volt, but a Fiend folio Volt, you should see. And famously, there's 2 pictures, I think, of the Volt. There's one where it's kind of a head-on, um, and then there's one where it's latched onto the shoulder of an adventurer and stinging at the top of his head with a. Yeah, look at this picture right here. He's stinging the top of his head with its electrical tail. And yeah, that's what we want right there. Hang on. Open image, a new tab. I always just like the look of it, though. So, Errol Otis, 1981. It has an interesting texture on its tail. It looks like a rope. Almost looks like a braided rope. Um, I've added a jaw to the creature, so it's not completely like the original was. Let's see. Something like that. I think I'll make the eyes just a little bit less big. The original has these gigantic eyes, like the eyes would have been most of the creature. And these weird kind of fuzzy hairs, which we're going to keep. I want to have it be, kind of obvious enough that anybody who is an old school enough D&D fan would recognize it, but it doesn't constitute any kind of, it's different enough that you might get it. I also thought it might be fun if some of these escape later on and attack, someone else. All right, we got it somewhere in there. Lately, I've been watching Better Call Saul. I've been really enjoying it. I think what I really like about it is the characters of Jimmy McGill, who is Saul. If you've only seen Breaking Bad, um, he is the same character. He is the same kind of shady lawyer, but funny, shady but funny lawyer from the from the original series. But one of the things that you don't know about him is he's just really kind to old people, and when he can't get work initially, he ends up working with like old people to put together wills and stuff like this. He ends up doing this incredible deal with the. He figures out that they're getting defrauded by the retirement community, and he sets up a lawsuit for them. It's really cool. I forgot what the tail on this thing looks like. The very end of this tail, it's got to have something on it, some kind of like a knot of bone or something like that that it uses to sting or shock. It has like an electrical attack. I probably have an old fiend follow lying around here. Take a look behind me. Yeah, it's not immediately popping into view. I do keep all my D&D books up here, though, or my old school ones, and I have them all in PDF as well. Okay. One thing I am not 100% sure of, and I do have to figure out before I really get started, is the model for my character. I mean, I kind of understand my original concept when I actually played this character in a D&D game. The original concept was for him to be a bit like Brock Sampson from the Venture Brothers. He was, you know, a tough guy. And, I told everyone that I was a barbarian, but in reality, he was not. He was a warlock who just happened to have high strength and constitution. And the curse of the dodo god was an important part of his quote unquote backstory. Now, I know that we old scholars like to make fun of backstories, but sometimes, you just can't help yourself. Besides, I'm a comic maker, right? I can get away with whatever I want to. All right. All right. It's got to have long hair because all barbarians have long hair, right? Let's see. And then this is the outside of his hand, so his thumb should be on this side. I think where my problem is my my brush is a little too wide. All right. His costume, pretty minimal. He has the loincloth. He's got um, knee-high boots. There we go. And then armbands. Big belt. You gotta have a big belt if you're a barbarian. This is kind of the Conan look, but it's going to be a longer kind of a skirt loincloth kind of deal. I've certainly done the forearm guards before. Move this off to the side just a bit. There we go. Is this hand too big or is that one too small? I think the one over here is too small. That looks good. Just for fun, I thought it might be good to make him not look especially buff. Like there'll be tougher, bigger, stronger looking dudes, but his shtick will be that he's just like macho. Like he can withstand the damage somehow. That was always kind of the shtick in the D&D game too, because they get like as warlocks, you get this thing called false life that you can get. You can cast it every round. It's just free 8 hit points per round, so you can just kind of absorb a lot of damage. All right. So we got this, and we got this one big one. I mean, that's going to need the bigger lion weight. And then I like these kind of inner folds. There we go. Now, I got these on the inside of his head, you know, where you can see the outside. And now these eyes are completely on the outside. I'm wondering if I made the eyes too big. Or maybe that I could just, yeah, I can just make the head a little bit wider to sort of account for it. All right. And I hope that the effect, I don't know, can you see what I'm doing here? Let me take a look at my monitor here. Big, medium, smaller and smaller and smaller as they go further and further away. So you should get this cone effect as we get in there. And that's just for the first page. I did 2 pages to start with, just to get the story kicked off. Yes, I do kind of just write these a page at a time. But, you know, as long as you keep your momentum up and you kind of know where the story's going, and you're able to ask the critical question in comics, which is what happens next. I think that you're golden, you know what I mean? All right, let's see if we can get these teeth in there. Today is December 23rd at 6:58 p.m. By the time this video gets posted, it'll probably be, no, I don't know, 8 o'clock or something. It takes me a while to do little edits. I'm gonna have to pull up a picture of the Jabberwock and a picture of a Volt so you can compare and contrast to what I'm drawing. These won't be called Volts in the comic. They'll be called some other creature, but I'm certainly inspired by them, by my version of them. I'm very old school. There we go. And I'm hoping to, to pull off, like, I learned a lot when I was doing the Rabbit Fighter comic where, by the end of it, I was much better than when I started. And I was only doing it for a couple of months, to get to 22 pages. I think I did it for 2 months. 22 pages over 2 months. Not bad, right? This will be a nice beef up for my page count for the both all time and for the year, that's how I count things. I know I have the margins here, and I'm going to go ahead and leave the margins in. I know the hip thing to do is to just like drop the margins and draw out to the bleed, but I don't do that. That's dust for squares. All right. How do we do these eyes? Something like that. Remember, this is just the pencil layer. At the end of the day, we're going to drop the opacity and go in and, with another layer on top of this where we do the inking. I want people to see that, what I'm capable of. Oh, let's see if I can do this horn right. I thought it might be fun to do these voiceover callouts. We used to call them narration boxes, I guess. I'll do them like they're all ancient scrolls or something like that. Or, parchment or something. So there's like a little knock taken out of it. Wow, this critter's looking good. Okay. Drawing right over where I want the logo to be. The logo, quite frankly, is going to be a problem. I like this font. I think this is called Dark Flow. There's any number of fantasy fonts and display type, that are cool and that we could go in and maybe find a nice one. Even a nice free one, nice free display font, and do something with. Okay, I like this horn, but I don't like this. Well, I don't know. I kind of like that horn. Tell you what, I'm gonna. What I was thinking of doing is once I have one horn that I like, just take it and reverse it and put that for the other one. It's so hard to get a good horn, So all right, so if I do it this way, that's good. Is that good? My problem is down here. Like when you make this bend over here, like depending on the angle that you're holding the creature at or drawing the creature at, I say holding like as if I'm holding a model. You can screw it up, obviously. One of the tricks that I think will be really important, and I didn't really kind of pick it up until right near the very end, possibly on the very last page of Rabbit Fighter, was really going in and balancing out my black, the black ink versus, my negative space. So let's get that eye up. So I was thinking of, if the cycle is going this way, that we're just going to have to, we're going to go in and black out. I think that might look nice. Black out this area and that area. I think that'll probably be okay. I think people will think this is cool. All right, let's see. Definitely inspired by Rock Samson. I don't know. There were some really cool scenes where he would be like, just ridiculous things would be going on, and he would just kind of dive right into the swamp and come out with the head of the alligator or whatever. I can't remember all the stuff that would happen on that show. He also kind of reminds me of these Jade Phantoms that are in Trove. I've been playing a lot of Trove lately. If you've been following my Vole playing games channel, I don't know if I like this top of the skull. So there we go. Let's just erase that. Yeah, each one of these volts can look a little different. I mean, they're different creatures, so they can look different. They don't have to look like. There's a lot of people that would just draw one of these and they'll just cut and paste it everywhere. That's some bullshit right there. We will not be doing that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. All right. I'm just gonna. I seem to recall that there were World of Warcraft monsters that looked a little bit like this that were over in the Dark Elf area. Not the Dark Elf area, the Blood Elf area. Remember the Blood Elves? There we go. Those are the horns. I'm just trying to get the shape right. I don't like the horns on this guy. I'm gonna pull him back a little bit. All right, come on. All right. And he's too thick. Well, I'm not doing the ink line right now, so it can be anything. Or we're gonna go and end up drawing a lot of these again anyways, right? Almost like leeches. We've got the bone spur on the end. Oh shit, come on now. All right. This is all looking good. Oh, we've got one right here. Sneaking it behind him. I think what we're gonna say, because we want to heighten the danger of like what this really is, what the nightmare void is. after he gets through this, he actually has to confront the dodo god, like right up front in the beginning. And she's going to say something like, I could destroy you right now, but there's got to be some, I've got to figure out the reason she can't. Maybe there's a rule or something. And I have to, or I've decided to make you suffer. And that's why he gets infected with the dodo lycanthropy curse. Something like that. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Those horns are way the F off. Let's fix those right up. And get right back into Better Call Saul. Yeah, so remember, this is just the pencil layer. Tomorrow, which will be Christmas Eve, I'll be Johnny on the spot trying to freaking ink this thing, maybe. Well, we'll hope. We can only hope. How do these horns look again? Okay, yes. It almost looks like one of those Chinese dragon looking creatures. Like a Kyren or something. There's something antelope like about these horns. Like on an antelope. We're getting this one slightly from the side. So we can do something with putting it a bit in profile. No, wait, I think we can do, just because he's in the back, we'll do dots. Maybe there's the bone spur. Okay. What do you think? Did we get close? All right. And then we have enough space for generations. The fate of my family has been the same, cursed. Right? And then here's the tagline up at the front. Too unlucky to live, just too damn tough to die. Oh yeah. Maybe I could do some more of these. Oh, this one's kind of flattened. I like the way it looks. Hang on, let's fix that one up real quick. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. I like the look of it originally, but I like the look of it less now. What happened? All right. And then we're just kind of gradient in. I originally had it like right here. I'm wondering if that's right because I have this giant one coming in from the same corner. But maybe there's something obstructing it in the slightly in the foreground. So that doesn't bother me too much really. Like maybe this is a cave. Like we're not going to really explain what the void of nightmares is. It's just a thing that the gods can do to you when they're mad in this world, in this fantasy world that we're creating. And I assume it's the same fantasy world that Slink and Simpleton are kind of part of. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, we're getting real sketchy at the end here, but how about this guy right here? Wait, wait, wait. Ooh, badoo, badoo. Ooh, right over into its eye area. All right. All right, we're on to something. Now then, let's try and get this logo. So that's where I put the logo originally. I have another option that we could do. Let's first of all, let's remove this option for a second. That's looking pretty good. All caps. Brillig, right? And then instead of dark flow, I think I have one called like mutant turtles or something like that. Let's see. It's called Midnighter. That's pretty good. That's pretty good right there. I could do that one. And that one actually already has kind of a great look to it already. It's kind of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles look. And I could do the same trick. I could just take this and, nope, bring it back. I could bring the opacity down and then kind of trace it, do my own version of it, which might be really cool. We could even take it and we could warp it a little bit. I think that would look really good. What if we warped it? Something like that. Then we're already moving away from the original font, which is kind of cool. That might be the way to go. All right. So let's do that. Let's start tracing that. Hang on. Let me bring the opacity down. I'm going to put a layer 2. We're going to bring Brillig underneath the logo layer. And just see if we can do our own version. I like this cross hatching that they did. I want to learn that trick for one thing. Still technical pen. Makes me not feel as bad about using a stock font, you know? I mean, you started with a stock font, but you also made changes to it and then you traced it and you did your own version of it. Wait. The eye. I think the eye is following this line, this kind of line of attack, because we did this stretch. So let's keep that stretch in there. The other thing I can do, once I get him in there, is I'll do a white flood fill on the insides of the block letters so that nothing underneath, shows through. And then we can try a couple of different approaches with the hatching. So let's see if we take this out. What do you think? That's pretty good, right? That's pretty cool. Just your standard box lettering. Now let's take a look at how they did it. It looks like they started hatching this way, and then they hatched another way, and then they hatched up, and they only got to about halfway while they were hatching. So that's a cool technique. All right, let's put that white flood fill like we said. There's white. And then we'll ink over the top of this. Right? And then I'll use Helsinki ink, which is the brush that I like. Let's put it back in black. And it kind of starts out where it's what if I did it and the center is about the middle of this L, and then I reverse on the next L. I'm looking at it right now. I've got all kinds of little mistakes that need to be fixed. Oh shit. All right, let's get back in there. Oh, we were going to reverse. Come back. All right. Let's go the opposite direction. All right. Now we're going to go in. We're going to cross hatch, but it's only going to go to about midway. Not all the way up to here, but like midway to the middle. This is a very like Eastman layered kind of font here. All right, here we go. Oh, we're switching. right? And then we're going to reverse again once we clean it up. And I know I'm kind of speeding through, so I might have to go through and like really take my time and then save the logo off as its own file. Oh, shoot. Yeah, all right. Okay. Now we got to go all the way to the halfway point, but we're starting at the bottom so that we get the whole, like it should get darker and darker. Oh, this one goes straight up. And it's the emphasis, there's no rulers, it's kind of emphasis on feel. Maybe that sounds a bit like a cop-out, though. Let me get the inside of that B. There we go. Okay. It's not as pro, but it's mine, you know? It's one of those things. This is actually starting to look pretty cool. And I think when we get this thing done, we're probably gonna have to go through and even just like black out the bottom, like, you know, thicken it up a little bit. Okay, the other important thing to have are these kind of pock marks. Okay, let's thicken out this bottom layer so that we see more black. Maybe like that. Like it's the blackened end of something. There. What do you think? Oh man. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I think we got a good start. I think we got a good start to a good page. Now this isn't inked yet. We're gonna go through and we're gonna ink it tomorrow. It is now, that took me 48 minutes. All right, good enough. And I mean, it took me longer to do the roughs because I was doing the roughs all earlier today. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you get everything that you wish for, but most of all, peace on earth, goodwill towards men, and don't forget the reason for the season. Yes, baby. Yes, yes. And keep on rocking, baby. All right. Talk to you later.